Hi, it's Bree here, the registered nurse and health coach of hippydippymom.com. So I'm just continuing kind of with the series I've been doing this month. April is Stress Awareness Month, and I think that most of us are aware that stress is a huge issue in our society, and it has a huge impact on our health and well-being. What I'm doing is just bringing you some videos to help you reduce the stress, bring more awareness to it, give you ideas, maybe kind of outside of the box a little bit to reduce your stress. I talked about some self-help books that I like that I think could help reduce your stress. I talked about meal planning to reduce stress. Today I'm going to be talking about healthy foods that help reduce stress. So we really should be, eating healthy most of the time anyways, but there are some foods that are especially harmful while we're stressed out, and then there are other foods and nutrients that are especially helpful while we're stressed out. So that is something that we're going to talk about today. And I think that the foods that are, harmful while we're stressed out aren't really going to be too much of a surprise, because these are the things that are harmful all the time, no matter what our emotional state is. So those foods are sugar. I consider that my number one enemy. We have a love-hate relationship. I love it, but it hates me. So sugar leads to major chronic systemic inflammation. It destroys our gut, and there's a lot of research coming out about how important our gut health is to our overall health. And one of the ways that it's important to our health is that some of our happy hormones start to be made in our gut. So if our gut's not functioning properly, then those hormones aren't being made, and that is linked to things like depression and anxiety and stress. So, reduce sugar. Also, if we're consuming a lot, we can get sugar rushes, and that mimics that stress or anxiety feeling, right? Caffeine, kind of the same thing. It just, speeds up our heart rate and makes us feel anxious. So, I love my cup of coffee, but sometimes you just, got to put it down so that your body has time to be able to calm itself down without trying to fight off, a stimulant. So another one is alcohol. And I know that a lot of people kind of reach for alcohol and sugar really when they're stressed out, just as a way to kind of escape, or, they say, well, I need the alcohol because it helps me relax. But that might be true in that moment, but the longer lasting effect of drinking the alcohol and having the sugar are just really not worth it. And then the last kind of category of food that's really, really harmful all the time, but especially when we're stressed, is simple carbs. So really anything processed, pastas and breads, those immediately start to turn to sugar in our mouth, so we still get that blood sugar spike and then the crash. And at both points we can really not feel well. We can get jittery, kind of have that anxious feeling still. So like I said, I know that a lot of people reach for these, especially for types of categories when we're stressed out. The sugar, the caffeine, the alcohol, and the simple carbs. But those are doing more damage all the time. Even if you feel happy, if you don't feel like you're stressed out and you're eating those things, it is definitely harmful to your health. And remember that food's number one purpose is to nourish us. It's not to comfort us. It's not to be gourmet. It's not to I don't know, whatever other purpose people use food for. It's not anything but to nourish our bodies so that our bodies can function properly. So some foods or nutrients that are particularly helpful during times of stress are omega-3s. Most of us are very deficient in omega-3s anyway. But our brain is 60% fat, and we have to have healthy fats in our diet for our brain to function properly, for our gut to function properly. Our cells are made up of fat. So a lot of us are getting omega-6s, a lot of omega-6s, because those are found in like vegetable oil, which is used in everything in fast food and packaged food. And omega-6s are pro-inflammatory, so that also leads to just more inflammation, poor gut health, where omega-3s are anti-inflammatory and really super healthy fat. Fermented foods would be really, really, really good for you. And fermented foods are not something I used to like at all, but if you think of sauerkraut, that's kind of one of the first foods that comes to my mind when I think of fermented food. When you go to the grocery store, most of the sauerkraut in grocery stores is not actually fermented. So, that could be a reason why I myself think that most sauerkraut is really gross, because it's not actually fermented. When I tried really true sauerkraut that is really fermented, it was delicious. So really, look into fermented foods. I took a class on how to ferment foods and learned a lot. So that is really good for our gut health because it has a lot of probiotics. And, I talked about gut health and how our happy hormones start to be made there. So we need to, even if you don't like fermented foods, you can also take a probiotic supplement. Before you start any supplement, though, make sure you're checking with your healthcare professional so you know that it's not going to interact with anything else that you may be on. Another nutrient that most of us are really, really, really deficient in that is particularly helpful during times of stress and anxiety is magnesium. So a lot of us have a high sugar diet, and so we're not getting magnesium from vegetables, plus sugar depletes magnesium out of our body even faster. Magnesium is a very, very, very important electrolyte and nutrient. So I personally take a magnesium supplement, and it's something that I found helped reduce my headaches. Again, check with your healthcare professional before starting any supplement. But what they've found about magnesium is that it is also a precursor for those happy hormones like serotonin. And you could look for a supplement. There's a lot of different kinds of magnesium out there. Or you could just get it from food. So again, decrease your sugar intake so that it's not wiping the magnesium out of your body. Nuts and seeds are good for magnesium, like pistachios and pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. Leafy greens, sea vegetables, avocados, those are all really yummy. My mouth is watering. And really, really great choices for magnesium. So, start getting some of those foods into your diet for sure. You're going to love me for saying this and be maybe a little bit confused, but dark chocolate has been shown to be really beneficial during times of stress, but it has to be real chocolate, not the junky artificial flavor, fake sugar chocolate. It has to be, cacao, and at least 72% cacao. And, the least amount of ingredients in a dark chocolate bar or piece of chocolate, the better. So, and it's not eating the whole, king size bar. It's having a little square or two in a day. So that there are lots of studies out there showing that can be beneficial. The last thing that can be really beneficial isn't really a food, but it's sunshine. And, that is necessary for vitamin D. When we're deficient in vitamin D, that is when we start to feel things like depression and anxiety. It's one of the contributing factors, not the only thing that leads to depression. But I know when I was working in the hospital in mental health units, that is one thing that they would do lab tests on when people came in as a patient, and most, if not all people, were somewhat deficient in vitamin D. So get out there and, just 10 to 20 minutes of sunshine every day will start to increase your vitamin D levels. And if you live somewhere where it's cloudy frequently, then you can also ask your healthcare professional about a vitamin D supplement. So that is all for healthy foods that help to reduce stress, and the other foods that you should stay away from. And I would like to know what kind of things stress you out, and what healthy foods have you found that are helpful to you when you're stressed out or even sad or anxious. So go ahead and put that in the comments, and then check out the next video, which is all about my favorite apps on my phone to help reduce stress. Till next time, take care.